London, England, winter of 2022. Whilst the fog covered the grey streets of East London, two Brazilians scrubbed the blood-stained floor of an abandoned pub in Stratford. They didn't know it then, but that would be the last time they'd work for less than 12 quid an hour. This is the true story of Lucas and Fernanda, a couple who left Minas Gerais with 1,500 quid in their pockets and an impossible dream. 2 years later, they had 120,000 reais saved in British bank accounts. But what nobody tells you is the price they paid for it. They faced post-Brexit xenophobia, gangmaster exploitation, nearly got deported by the Home Office, and in the 8th month, something happened that almost destroyed everything. A betrayal they never expected. This isn't some cheap motivational story. It's the raw, unvarnished truth about what it means to be an immigrant in the United Kingdom in 2024. And I guarantee you've never heard anything quite like it.
Lucas was 29 years old when he decided to leave Belo Horizonte. He worked as a mechanic, earning 1,500 reais a month. Fernanda, his 26-year-old wife, was a manicurist at a salon in the Pampulha neighborhood. Together, they could barely afford rent on a 2-room flat. But there was something consuming them from within, a silent anguish that millions of Brazilians know all too well, the feeling of being trapped, of working non-stop and never getting anywhere. It was in the early hours of an April morning in 2022 that Lucas woke Fernanda with an insane proposal. "What if we went to England?" "Fernanda, are you mad? We haven't got money even for the ticket." "Lucas, what if I told you I've already sold the motorbike?" Fernanda didn't speak to Lucas for 3 days, but deep down, she knew he was right. They needed to take the risk, because dying of fear was the same as dying slowly. 45 days later, they boarded a British Airways flight bound for London. Tourist visa, 1,500 quid in their wallet, and absolutely no guarantees whatsoever. Heathrow Airport, Terminal 5, 8th June 2022, 16:17. Lucas was sweating in the British immigration queue. He'd memorized every word he'd say to the officer. Tourism, 2 weeks, museums, hotels, booked. But when the British official, with his thick accent and suspicious gaze, started asking questions, everything fell apart. The interrogation lasted 52 minutes. They searched the luggage, checked the mobile, asked questions about money, work, family, ties to Brazil. Fernanda cried. Lucas lied, saying his English was rubbish just to buy time. Finally, they were cleared. But that moment marked them forever. Post-Brexit, England was even more hostile towards immigrants. And they knew. They were potential illegals. They'd have to live hidden in the shadows of a society that didn't want them there. The first week was a nightmare. The hotel they'd booked online was actually a damp basement in Newham, East London, shared with 12 other people. Brazilians, Romanians, Nigerians, Pakistanis, all running from something. 35 quid a night. No windows, no proper heating. The London cold penetrated right to the bone. The bathroom was always occupied, and at night, you could hear the muffled crying of a woman in the next room. It was there, listening to the overground trains pass every 15 minutes, that Lucas realized the brutal truth. They had nowhere to go back to. The motorbike was sold, the flat given up, the bridges burnt. Either they won or they vanished. On the 7th day on British soil, the money was running out. Lucas had 680 quid left. Fernanda panicked.
It was then that one of the Brazilians from the basement, a bloke of about 50 called Rogério, offered help. He knew a gangmaster, a middleman who arranged cleaning work for undocumented immigrants. What Lucas and Fernanda didn't know was that this gangmaster was actually part of an exploitation scheme that spreads across all of London. The next day, at 4:30 in the morning, they were taken in a white van with no identification, along with 15 other immigrants. Nobody spoke during the journey round the M25, just empty, resigned looks. Lucas and Fernanda's first cleaning job was in a 4-story Victorian mansion in Kensington, billionaire Arab owners who spent only a month per year there. They worked 13 hours straight. Filthy marble bathrooms, professional kitchen with months-old rotting food, stained Persian carpets. The broken heating system turned the house into a freezer. At 9 o'clock at night, exhausted and with their hands raw from contact with chemicals without proper gloves, they received payment, 45 quid, for the two of them, together. Fernanda cried on the way back along the M4. Lucas punched the side of the van. But Rogério just lit a cigarette and said something that would change the course of this story. That phrase echoed in Lucas's head for 3 days. Stop being an employee. And then he had an idea. If they could get direct contact with the homeowners without middlemen, they could charge the fair British market rate, between 15 and 20 quid an hour. But there was a problem. How do you find clients when you're invisible? The answer was in Fernanda's hands. She created an Instagram profile called Brazilian Shine Cleaning London and started posting before and after photos of the cleanings they did. But these weren't ordinary photos. Fernanda had an artistic eye. She transformed each cleaning into a visual narrative. Victorian chaos becoming minimalist order, aristocratic filth becoming modern shine. In 2 weeks, the profile had 400 followers. In a month, 2,500. And then something unexpected happened. A British woman called Charlotte, owner of 3 artisan cafes in Camden Town, sent a message. She needed a team to clean her units every night after closing, and she was willing to pay 120 quid per location, 6 times a week. Lucas and Fernanda could barely believe it. That was 2,160 quid a week, 8,640 quid a month, more than they'd earn in 2 whole years in Brazil. But there was a catch. To secure this contract, they'd need professional equipment approved by British health and safety standards, and that would cost 2.5 grand that they didn't have. Lucas was at a crossroads. They had only 450 quid left. They didn't know anyone who could lend them money, and the deadline to start the job was in 8 days. That's when Rogério appeared again. He offered to lend the 2.5 grand, but with 35% interest per month, a common practice amongst gangmasters who exploit immigrant vulnerability. Fernanda begged Lucas to refuse. She knew this type of loan was a trap, that they could be eternally stuck in an unpayable debt, like so many other Brazilians they knew. But Lucas accepted. And with that, they signed a pact that nearly led them to destruction. In the first 3 months, everything seemed perfect. They cleaned the 3 cafes, got paid on time by Charlotte, religiously paid Rogério. Instagram grew. New clients appeared, expats, diplomats, city professionals. By the 4th month, they already had 18 regular clients spread between Notting Hill, Chelsea, and Hampstead. They were saving 2.5 grand a month after all expenses. The Monzo bank account was growing. The dream was becoming reality. But then came the 8th month, and everything collapsed. 17th February, 2023.
On the sixth day of despair, whilst Lucas was sat on a bench in Regent's Park watching the ducks swim in the frozen lake, an elderly woman approached. She was Portuguese, 81 years old, and said she'd seen their Instagram. She asked, in Portuguese, if they were all right. Lucas, with no strength to lie, told her everything. The lady, called Dona Graça, did something they'll never forget. She offered $2.5 grand, no interest, no deadline, just trust from one immigrant to other immigrants. Dona Graça had arrived in England in 1974, fleeing the Portuguese dictatorship. She started cleaning houses. Today, at 81, she owned 3 properties in Brixton. With that money, they paid off Rogério and got rid of him for good. And what's more, Dona Graça introduced them to her network of successful Portuguese, Spanish, and Brazilian immigrants friends who lived in South London. In 6 weeks, Lucas and Fernanda had 32 new clients, all through referrals, all trustworthy. Many were Brazilian lawyers, doctors, and business people who preferred helping their countrymen. They increased their prices to 18 quid an hour, the fair London market rate, focused on exceptional quality, hired 3 other Brazilians to help, paying a fair wage, and created an aggressive savings system. 45% of everything they earned went straight into UK investment accounts. By the 18th month, they'd already saved 14,000 quid, approximately 88,000 reais. By the 24th month, they'd exceeded 18 grand, 113,000 reais. And by the 27th month, they reached 19,200 pounds sterling, equivalent to 120,000 Brazilian reais. But the most impressive thing wasn't the money. It was what they became. From victims to survivors. From survivors to winners. From invisible immigrants to respected business owners. Today, Lucas and Fernanda remain in London, now living legally with a skilled worker visa they obtained through a sponsor company. They've expanded the business and now manage a team of 18 people, all immigrants, all with similar stories. But when asked if it was worth facing the British cold, post-Brexit xenophobia, exploitation, and betrayal, Lucas responded with something disturbing. England doesn't welcome you with open arms. It tests you in the cold, in loneliness, in rejection. And if you pass the test, it lets you stay. But the price? The price is a piece of your identity that you never get back. You're never fully Brazilian again, but you'll never be British either. This was the true story of Lucas and Fernanda, 2 Brazilians who saved 120,000 reals in 2 years and 3 months working as cleaners in London. And remember, for every success story you hear, there are hundreds of others that ended in silence, in deportation by the Home Office, in surrender after the first winter, in tragedy on the frozen streets of a city that never promised to be easy. The British dream exists, but it demands a price that few are willing to pay. And the London fog hides so many stories that will never be told. This story was based on real accounts from Brazilian immigrants in the United Kingdom. Names have been changed to protect their identities.